Okay, we're going to do the 22-cent mod with the carb on the bike. And as you can see, the carburetor is well up under the tank. And even if you get it rotated towards you, it's going to be difficult to get to the top cap and do what you need to do. So you need to remove the tank. And of course that means removing the side panel bolt here, the two bolts on the back of the tank, and then on a Gen 2 you've got 1, 2, 3, and a fourth bolt to take out, and then the side panels will come off and you'll be able to remove the tank. With the tank off, we're ready to start to rotate the carburetor. You don't need to remove the throttle cables. You do need to be cautious about the choke cable that's on the back side. Now let me show you a little trick for dealing with that. This is the choke cable. This is a metal elbow, and of course this ferrule is only made out of plastic. So if you try and rotate the carburetor, you'll snap that thing off, and you'll basically snap it off at the threads here, leaving a threaded piece inside. And now the carburetor's got to come out. You've got to get a replacement, and you don't want to do that. Simply reach over with your other hand, pull this out, and then you can rotate the carburetor and you will not break that ferrule. Make sure you keep it in this position and keep an eye on it. So remember that trick. The first thing we do is remove, or actually just really only need to loosen these up quite a ways. These are the clamps that go to the air box and to the intake. So you get those good and loose. Sometimes it's even easier just to pull them off, but I think we can probably do it without pulling them off if we take the screws almost all the way out. Okay, so that's loose. Now I'm going to reach around and I'm going to grab the metal elbow that is on the choke cable. I'm going to pull it out of the carburetor, and then I'm going to put my thumb on the other side of the throttle cable bracket, and I'm just going to rotate the whole carburetor like that. Now I've got a big zip tie up here. You probably don't have that, so you'll have a little more slack, but this is enough rotation where you can get at the cap. So let's go inside and see what it takes to get into this sucker. I'm going to finish this job up on the bench. Hopefully you'll be able to see better. You should have your carburetor about at this angle in the bike, so pretend there's a bike back here. What you want to do is remove the cap screws from the top of the carburetor. Now there's a long spring underneath this, so as we get to the last screw, we're going to hold the cap in place so things don't come flying out and get lost. It's not a real powerful spring, it just holds the slide down. But as we take the last one off, we want to make sure that that cap doesn't come loose. So let the cap come off and reach behind here and grab the spring. Set the cap aside. Set the spring aside. Now put your finger in here and lightly pull up just to get this diaphragm out of the groove, and then grab the slide underneath and pull the whole assembly out. Now take your index finger and just push up on the needle, and that will bring out this little white retainer. This is what holds the needle in place. And then take the needle out and be real careful with that. Don't want to bend it, so set it in a good safe place. Now if we look at the bottom, there are two holes. This is the one the needle comes out of. This is the hole that allows air to transfer back and forth, and it's what allows vacuum to pull the slide up. So this is what we want to get drilled out to 7/64, which is just a bit less than 1/8 of an inch. So you'll just take a drill and very gently drill through that hole. It's only about, well, it's less than 1/8 of an inch thick, so it won't take you very long to pop right through that. Be very careful, hold it straight. You'll probably want to gently set it down on a surface like this. You probably can't see it in the video, but set it down on your bench and very carefully go through that. And then make sure that you get all of the any chips or burrs or anything out of there. Blow it out with some air, and now you've got your slide hole drilled. The next thing to do is to get your needle back and take either one or two. Suggest you start with one, and if that doesn't do the trick for you, get two of these 440 washers and put them onto the needle like that. What that does is it raises the needle a little bit, and as the needle sits down in the jet, it's pulling it out of the jet, making it a little bit richer. As I say, one is probably enough for most applications. Unless you've got an LMOD done and a modified exhaust and stuff, you'll probably be happy with just the one. Then you very carefully drop the needle back down in like that, and then this is the tricky part. Since the carburetor is tilted, if you just sit that in there, the needle is going to droop down and it's not going to go through the jet. It's going to run into the bottom of the Venturi. So take your finger, stick it in the hole, and press on the head of the needle so that everything is held straight. And then you can very carefully put this back in. And with the needle held straight, the slide will guide everything so that the needle goes into the jet, and you should feel no resistance. It should just slide gently into place like that. Now you want to start to guide the diaphragm into the groove. You can use a little Vaseline in the groove to help you hold it. If your diaphragm is a little distended, you may need to do that. Oftentimes you don't have to if you're just very careful about getting it back in. This needs to go in next, and you see it's got legs on it with spaces. You want to make sure that you don't get a leg over the hole that you've just enlarged. So when you drop this down in there, look very carefully, toggle it with your finger, and make sure that it's not covering a hole and it's in the right place. Then take and put the spring back in, and then the cover back on. Now if you've done a good job of getting this thing into the groove, as you put this down, you should be able to rock it around and slide it back and forth a little bit and feel that everything is okay with that diaphragm. And then you simply put the screws back in. And I recommend these Allen head cap screws that you can get at Ace Hardware or someplace like that. It's just a lot easier. The Phillips that come with it are really not Phillips, they're JIS. Which is, of course, the Japanese version of Phillips, and they're not the same as Phillips, and so eventually you'll booger them up. And that's pretty much true of all of the what looks like Phillips on your bike. If you can replace them with a cap screw, so much the better. So once you've done that, you've got this good and snug down, then you just give every one of them just a light little twist to tighten it up, and that's all it takes, just until you feel some resistance, and that's just about it. You're done.